So you've mustered up the courage to get up, get dressed, and go to the gym. Being a good human is never easy, particularly when it means exercising, but you've made it. You sustain a grueling hour of pain and misery. Then you leave with the feeling of pride and accomplishment, knowing that today has been a break from the usual Netflix binge fest and cookie eating. You'd think your body would rejoice and join you in this state of elation, but what does it do instead? It leaves you incapacitated for 2 days in a sustained agony that has you crawling instead of walking, because walking becomes out of the question. But why? Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video and another week of something new. Now you've probably guessed it already, but this week we're deep diving into why muscles get sore after working out. As one of nature's particularly cruel jokes, muscle soreness is the gift that nobody asked for. It's given us the joys of having to explain why we can't lift what looks like a relatively light chair, or why we have to take particularly short strides for 2 days and definitely can't take the stairs. There seem to be no good reasons why our bodies would put us through such pain. So why does it? Cue the intro! So there are different kinds of muscle soreness that can happen for different reasons. The kind that we're going to talk about today is called delayed onset muscle soreness, or DOMS for short. This is the enemy that leaves you hurting 3 days after your gym class. So what is delayed onset muscle soreness? Well, the clue is in the name. It's the pain that you feel not immediately after working out, but that starts around the 8-hour mark after exercising, and that generally hits a peak around the 48 to 72-hour mark. It's perceived to be a mild injury that heals on its own after a short period of time, about a week or two. And in most cases, the only other side effect to the pain itself is the feeling of wanting to lie horizontal because of that pain. So to start, let's clear up a big misconception. Delayed onset muscle soreness is not caused by lactic acid buildup in the muscles. I repeat, DOMS is not caused by lactic acid. Not lactic acid. Do you think I've said it enough times? So if it's not lactic acid, let's find out what's going on. When we work out, we use our muscles. And our muscles generally work in one of two ways. They either contract or they extend. Now we also use our muscles in everyday life. Opening doors, sitting on chairs, scrolling through Instagram, all of these things require our muscles. But all of these things don't necessarily lead to delayed onset muscle soreness. So to understand the difference, it's generally helpful to know how our muscles work in the first place. So here's a 1-minute explanation. Like most things, it starts with the brain. The brain is able to send signals to the muscles through specific channels called motor neurons, and it's these signals that kickstart the process for movement. Now at the muscle itself, you have what looks like a series of tubes within tubes within tubes, all with names that we don't care about, but you can think of it like a skeletal Russian doll. Now once you get to the last tiny doll, you start to see a series of blocks called sarcomeres. These line up all alongside each other to form rows of sarcomeres in the muscle fibre. Let's think of these rows like accordions. Within each accordion is a mechanism to shorten and lengthen. Now picture a series of overlapping lines inside the accordion and call one half actin and the other half myosin. Now the actin is able to slide over the myosin thanks to a little grabber on the myosin that's quite literally able to pull the actin across. It's this pulling motion that causes the muscle contraction, and this is what means we're able to move. So it's these rows of accordions with that pulling mechanism inside them that allow our muscles to shorten when that pulling mechanism is activated, and then lengthen again when that little grabber is released. So when the muscle shortens, this is called a concentric contraction. And when it lengthens again, this is called an eccentric contraction. Now remember the eccentric contraction, the lengthening, because this is going to be really important. Now back to delayed onset muscle soreness. Why do we feel so much pain? Well, this is thought to be because when we contract eccentrically, we use fewer motor units compared to when we do concentric contractions. So in other words, we use less of the muscle on the way down, than on the way up. But we're still lifting the same amount of weight. So if we're using 10 units to lift 20 kilos on the way up, but only using 5 units on the way down, the amount of tension on those 5 units is much more compared to the 10 units. And it's this increased tension which causes damage to the muscle tissue. This damage is usually microscopic tears in those rows of accordions that we talked about earlier. And they're generally not bad for you, but they do elicit a response from the body. And it's this response that can cause our muscles to feel sore. So interestingly, it's not the tears themselves that make you feel pain, but your body's response to treating those tears. Now, we don't quite know the exact reason for delayed onset muscle soreness. And it may be that there are a variety of factors that all contribute to experiencing pain during the 72 hours after exercise. But one of the factors that's considered to play a crucial role is the inflammatory response that occurs due to the muscle damage. Our body's natural response is to heal the damaged area by increasing blood flow and sending a smattering of immune cells to try and fix the problem. Well, it turns out some of these immune cells can actually cause the pain receptors around the damaged area to become more sensitive to certain stimuli. Now, these pain receptors are just nerves whose job it is to make you feel pain. Now, this sounds like a very sadistic system, but it's there to alert you to problems in your body. One of the stimuli that our muscles can become more sensitive to is movement, and this specific sensitivity to movement is what causes our muscles to feel more sore when we move after working out. Luckily, your body is able to repair the damage, and it does this by producing more sarcomeres, or more of those accordions, to increase the length of the muscle. So this forms one part of muscle growth. And don't be surprised if this forms the topic of another future video. So the pain comes from the small tears in the muscle fibers. But when does this happen in real life? Well, the first time is when we're focusing on those eccentric contractions, or that lengthening motion when we're working out. The second time is when we're doing novel exercises that we aren't used to. And this explains why getting back in the gym after 3 months of telling yourself that you're going to go to the gym causes you to feel a disproportionate level of soreness compared to doing exercises that you're used to. Now, you'll be relieved to hear that delayed onset muscle soreness decreases the more you become used to exercise and improve over time, which is why the soreness decreases the second, third, and fourth time you've smashed out your workout. Delayed onset muscle soreness can also be avoided altogether by starting off gently and progressing over time. Now, there are a variety of remedies proposed to treat delayed onset muscle soreness, all with varying degrees of success when studied, but like with most things, time is generally the best healer. So hopefully that's a bit more insight into why you're still crawling instead of walking days after that new jazzercise hit Body Combat 2.0 class, or after you've taken the second half of that bicep curl particularly slowly. When in pain, just remember it's your body's response to making everything better again. Or eat cake. Cake probably helps more. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you've learned something new in this video, let me know by clicking on that thumbs up. And if you want to watch more videos like this in future, click on that subscribe button and hit that bell icon. Definitely stay tuned for the next one, and until then, have another great week.